Now we are moving on to an interesting art movement, Dada. Dada is really not representing any particular painting style or art style. It really is talking about attitude. The next is also talking about the material they use for art. So the question is, what is this art? If we take something from ordinary life and sign artist name and date as well, can that become an art? This is what we are going to look at. Dada movement is really anti-art, anti-society, because after the World War One, the artists were not very happy about what they've seen, and they feel they've been betrayed by the establishment. So they do everything, anything to express their unhappiness. They're anti-establishment and anti-society. So, but what does the Dada means? Dada, the name was chosen at random. One say it could be the baby talk, or it could be from Slavic words means yes, yes. One of the members, the Dada movement, is a Slavic. Or some say it's a French word of a hobby horse. So it really began in 1916 when a bunch of artists, they're gathering at Switzerland, where they established a cabaret. They named it Voltaire. At the cabaret, they sing and songs and read poetry. Nevertheless, none of those things make sense at all. They take everything randomly for their poetry or their poems. They just open any books and pick up the words by chance and connect the words and make the words into meaningless point. And this by chance is really starting by Jean Aub. He's a French, but he was born in Germany. The story is like that. If you look at this painting, this is the collage, it's not painting, it's collage, you can tell. It was one day that when he was doing drawing, but he wasn't happy with his drawing. So what he did is to torn the whole piece of paper apart and kind of throw onto the floor. Later, he found those strips of paper laying on the floor, forming a different and interesting patterns. So what he did is he just paste those paper onto another piece of color paper according the way of the deposition they drop onto the floor. So that becomes a piece of artwork. So by chance, collages they become art. It's an attitude just showing that they want to challenge, use this kind of by chance of art or random chance of art to challenge the artistic norms and to question the role of the artist in the abstract and artistic movement process. But why Dada? I mentioned it before, just as said, and it's a kind of negative attitude in term. But what did it do? So instead of the crafting on aesthetic value, pleasing objects, they make works out of ordinary things that we normally don't consider as material for art. And because they use this to express their frustration against the society and also against the old norms that established by bourgeois, the culture. And so they call themselves, there's Dada is anti-Dada. They want against the society, but they're also against themselves. So one of the leaders, Marcel Duchamp, would be the person that we like to talk about. For what he has done, taking the ready-made and make it into work, it becomes a shocking reality to the art world. The question is, what is the art? Can an ordinary item become art? Who is determining what is art, what is not art? So that's an interesting question, and I want you all to think about it. What is art? What is not art? What can be made into art? What cannot? So their movements were influenced by Cubism and Futurism, as well as Constructivism and Expressionism. And their artwork, or reflecting their attitude, is widely diverse. They're ranging from performance art to poetry, photography, sculpture, painting, and collage. So their artwork is marked by this mockery of materialism and nationalist attitudes. But the movement was well accepted, and it was spread to other cities, including New York. And the movement really influenced by Dada is the Surrealism. When Surrealism began, that was the end of Dada.